I don't have a question so much on the President's report, although I suppose it could build off of your comment about the Algonquin court issue. But I do think that the President should write a letter to the association members in response to that letter that went out from Mr. Masters, making a number of statements and accusations and innuendo that without response, I can understand why people would be upset. I think it's time not only to point out a certain number of inaccuracies, but I also think it's time to start putting things in perspective. He's standing at the gate and he's passing out things, and he's talking at his meeting about this huge amount of money that we spent for legal fees last year. And I think it's about time that people understood that the return on that investment was very significant. If you took the legal fees, for example, for correcting our income taxes that were done incorrectly for 5 years, and our audits that were done incorrectly for 5 years, that amount doesn't add up to the total that we saved by filing a consolidated report last year. It doesn't. Yes, we had to pay it, but what we didn't have to pay was all those taxes. And in fact, all those taxes that we would have had to have paid exceeded what it cost to do the audit and the tax with the lawyers. Not only that, by changing our tax structure and how we're doing our taxes, we came out on top of that with an additional $1 million in credits. So, you know, it's very easy to stand up and tell these people that we spent $430,000 for something. I don't think it was $400,000 for those two items. But it was in that area, $350,000 to $400,000, when we in fact saved on not having to pay $450,000 in taxes. And because we did it correctly, we also have $1 million in credits to the IRS. So yeah, $400,000 sounds like a lot of money. Wow, they're spending our money, they don't give a damn. The fact of the matter is, we saved far more than we spent, and that savings will be credited. It's not like we save something we're not going to get back. That money's going to be credited, and these people don't understand that. It is time to stop taking this junk and start putting out the truth. And I believe it's your responsibility to do that, and I'm asking you to do it. We could also go further than that. We could talk about what it costs us to pay the lawyers for the SCC. The fact of the matter is that although we did in fact get $1 million and some back, and we're going to get more than $1 million back in the future, in all likelihood, the truth is that on the deficit side, we bid ourselves up a company that was doing nothing but soaking our money. And yes, it cost, what, about $200,000 to deal with the SCC. Almost half of that had to do with overcoming the objections Mr. Murray had to the SCC application, which in fact only received a couple of lines out of anything that the SCC had to say. So I think it's time to attribute certain things to where they belong. Out of that $500,000 and some we spent last year, how many of you know what the distribution is? How many of the actual population know? Our return on investment is far in excess of what it costs to get there. It was good, sound business. Good, sound business. I will give anybody here $400,000 if you're going to give me back $1.5 million. I'll do that right today. I'll write you the damn check. Give me $1.5 million back. It's time to talk. It's time to speak up. It's time to lay it out for what it actually is, instead of sitting back and wondering why the lady who left is unhappy. Oh, she's still here. Is unhappy. I would be unhappy too if I didn't understand. But we're not telling them. And we have to tell them. They have to know that yes, somebody is claiming we're pissing away all their money. The truth is that any business person would make the decisions that we made. You just don't have the information. Have I said that strongly?
I think I got it. Is that the consensus of the board that we make a response such as this? Then I'd be happy to draft it.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I ask something? We've got a number of people here tonight. It's a pleasure to see all of you. And all I have to say is we're not the enemy, we're your neighbors. Contrary to what a few neighbors might spread. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.